Okay, so we're in the work meeting. So president's report, I'll wait till downstairs. The students report, we don't have to do anything with, right? And, superintendent's report, you want to wait downstairs?
Yeah, we have our educator of the year and Mr. Klein downstairs. So that'll be good.
Okay. Let me see. So I think we should go to public comments, right? I think we have anyone on the
Yes.
agenda right here.
Presentation minutes.
Skip it and go to the next. Go to
Oh, sorry.
minutes downstairs.
Yep, okay, presentation minutes.
Yeah, we'll wait for downstairs until.
Okay, financial management.
I think I can wait for downstairs.
These are the
Well,
new ones, so
these are
I don't
the-
know if you want to just talk about them here, like we'll have the discussion here and just the vote downstairs.
Yeah.
You want to read?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like?
Do I have to read them?
No.
No,
If anybody has questions.
Okay.
Are there any questions? So we talked about the prescription plan
Right.
and that's gonna be a $70,000 savings effective April 1st, going forward each month. So per month.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't know what the rates are gonna go to in 2024 yet, you know, we won't know that. for
2024 is
months.
gonna cost us
You know, but at least what we're doing now is offsetting the healthcare increase for the first part of the fiscal year going into next year.
So we're no longer using the Daniels group?
We are not using the Daniels group. We're going into state health benefits,
State health benefits.
correct? And it's Horizon, it's still, you know, it's Horizon, but we're going into the state. So we're no longer using the Daniels group or Gallagher. Everything's gonna
So
be
all
Brown and
those
Brown.
funds We're saving with the
We're-
Daniels group?
We are saving them. We're gonna continue to get them because we gave them 90 days notice. So we will keep our earned maintenance. And it's still cheaper than staying with the Daniels. Correct. Yep. Okay. Anything payroll, we're gonna keep payroll in-house. We did find a very good candidate externally.
This is
we're
an
gonna-
open session, guys. This is open session.
This is what,
What?
we're not gonna go into anything else.
Yeah.
We're not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
We're staying on this platform.
Can we go back to that, the 800, that, so
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, that's a transformative,
Yeah.
huge deal. Is that something that like districts all across state are kind of
Some
tuning into,
well, some-
or,
some
or
are.
did you?
Some
Like,
are,
that's
some are
huge
looking,
that you found.
some are looking into it. Others have better experience ratings. We do not have a good experience rating as a district. So
I mean,
an
this-
experience rating is how many medical and prescription claims you have. And, you know, the older the population, if you have some catastrophic medical issues, you know, your experience rating is not real good, and ours is not the best to go out and we shop things. So if we stayed on the Gallagher group, it would have been a lot more.
This is
money.
this is why we hire groups like Brown and Brown. That's their job. Their job is to basically fish around for us to see what better deals are out there and where we could save money.
Wait, was it this group, or I thought Tina found
We did.
this money, not like a.
Working with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a group
I
effort.
mean, a group
It's all-
effort,
Yeah,
but, oh. I
you know,
just-
if we didn't hire Brown and Brown, then Brown and Brown
I mean,
wouldn't have come.
wanted us to stay
I mean,
together.
Tina some credit if
Yeah.
we just stumbled upon $800,000.
They're a very good group, but we're in their consortium. So
Yeah.
when you're dealing with a group and it's their consortium, it's very difficult to want to take that out.
Yeah.
Right? So
Okay.
the fact that we went to Brown and Brown is one of the reasons why
I
we
think-
decided to do that. You know, we've had the same people in this district a very long time, and sometimes new eyes
Yeah.
bring new opportunity.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Minimum wage.
Deals on financial management.
I mean, minimum wage increase, we're going with what the Fed is recommending. We did receive another emergent and maintenance grant award. They owe it's over $81,000. We're gonna use that for boilers,
That's great.
okay? Which we desperately need in TOIS. And then the last two are the cooperatives that we do to go out to try to get better natural gas and electric pricing. So last year, we weren't successful with some of the bids. This year, we're hoping we will be.
Okay, cool. Irene, anything on financial management?
That can't be discussed downstairs, no,
Well, does anybody have anything you want to
about
discuss?
PD or
Any questions about that one?
practice the suspension.
We'll discuss it up here.
and then vote down.
Yeah, we want
Yeah,
to,
all
discuss it up here and vote on that. You don't have to read everything.
Well, we can
Yeah,
say
go ahead.
8.1 is our out-of-school suspension report, 8.2 is a clinical practice to be approved, and 8.3 is PD for our staff.
Okay, it doesn't look like anybody has any comments about this.
Jeff, can we read downstairs if we didn't read up here? No, we don't have to, right?
No.
I would just say move to approve 8.1
Fine.
or whatever it is here.
Well,
Typically, we have it.
Just write downstairs next year, I think.
Typically, we have it.
Yeah, but the change.
You can change it.
Been reading all.
That's all what's on your reservation.
Yeah, I just didn't know who to do that. I'm happy. Just tell us what we're doing.
I think let's stay with the current program. First of all, there aren't that many points, right? So.
We're downstairs.
Doesn't mean you have to read
Next year,
everything.
Word.
Word.
On policy, is there anything you want to discuss on policy?
Just wanted to let everyone know that policy committee did meet. We reviewed these two again, so this is up for first reading because it's redlined. But these are just the corrections that we had suggested at the last meeting. They were the two that there was an oversight on. And we did go over the 0171, which is the president's duties and responsibilities, and there was some concern about conflicted members, and an advisory opinion was requested regarding certain committees. So we're in the process of doing that.
What do you mean by,
Well, if I could.
who's asking and, what do you mean by?
Can I?
Yeah,
please,
go.
The committee decided as a whole that because we've received conflicted, well, I believe we decided as a whole, yeah, we decided as a whole that because we've received conflicting information regarding whether or not an individual who's conflicted in the role of president and vice president is allowed to appoint certain members to certain committees.
Yeah.
We determined that we could take our time on this because there are no committees that are going to be appointed right now that are major, getting ready to make major decisions. So in the future, if we do receive an advisory opinion that we cannot have a conflicted member in that position and the vice president's role, that we would then go ahead and roll back the appointment of committees if need be, or discuss that with the board as a whole. Does that make sense?
It basically.
And did I miss anything from anybody in the board that was in the meeting?
No, you.
But
said
it
right.
basically stems from one group saying, yes, we can, yes, it doesn't matter, you can put anybody you want. And then there's an advisory opinion that says you can't.
We have multiple opinions on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have multiple opinions on both sides that are saying, yes, you can, and no, you cannot.
We need to just have a board discussion and have a conversation as a board, once our new member is in, to discuss how we think we should do it moving forward, because if you have opinions on both sides, then we need to just make a
Well,
decision.
see, I think getting advisory opinion. We're getting, no, I think they're getting various opinions from different attorneys at school.
None of them have been an official in writing
So,
advisory opinion, if that makes sense. And then, yes, the board can make that decision based on how the board wants to govern themselves, which would come from the policy committee with recommendations to be discussed as a committee of the whole.
You're right, John, and to further that confliction, I attended a webinar this week for the School Boards Association. And it was on the reorganization meetings, and someone submitted a question saying, if you have a conflicted president, is that person allowed to appoint for negotiations? And I thought, wow, is that person from Ocean
How
Township?
serendipitous.
And the response from school boards was, contact your attorney.
Boom. So that's what we're doing. That's what
So
we're
yeah,
doing.
round and round and round.
But
And then
our attorney said that's for an advisory opinion, right?
Yeah, our committee.
No,
The committee is going
Investing
to
to do-
putting, is requesting an advisory opinion.
Official in writing.
Right, official in writing, so that we can then make a
Because
decision to
I
rewrite.
believe our
this.
attorney tells us one thing, and then I think another member of the committee sought another opinion and got another. There's just conflicting opinions, so, from attorneys.
I do understand the need for, I believe there is a need, yes, for the advisory committee, opinion. I'm just wondering why we are being so narrow in our focus. And why, in the interest of like judicial review or whatever it is, since the ethics commission is swamped and doesn't have a lot of people and probably have a ton of these filings to go through, why wouldn't we just say, can the president or vice president who's conflicted do this? Can they do this? Can they do this? Can they not do this? Like, I think it seems almost like a waste of time to just ask for one.
That's more of the deciding one.
Yeah, but it's almost like going, like, so we would go ad hoc rather than if we've had like other,
So I said, I
I
think
mean,
we
we
should
weren't
just
just
have a
talking-
conversation as a board until the opinion comes. So if we have a conversation in January as a whole board, so everybody has, you know.
I agree with that,
True
but why are we
question.
asking for an advisory opinion on one thing? Why wouldn't we
It's
ask?
the same
For
thing about the
personnel.
building. Why are we waiting for all of these experts to give, because we want to hear all
But I
of
don't
the.
understand the
Because
question.
an ethics.
Yeah,
I don't understand the question. What aside from, what aside from of the ability to appoint committee members, if you are conflicted, is up for,
No,
And it's really specific to negotiations.
but I think we should ask for personnel, negotiation, instructional council.
yeah, I don't,
Okay.
I bet it's the ability, the
Well-
question at hand is the ability to appoint individuals to a committee if you are conflicted from having any sort of purview over said committee.
Mhm.
And that was the
Which
only
one
one,
is that?
and the
I guess-
ethics committee,
And it could be.
our attorney said everything else that you mentioned is operational. And doesn't fall under the purview of a conflicted member.
Personnel, they would say that was personnel is not all of it.
It is operational.
But I spoke to a different attorney at the New Jersey School Board Association.
Then
And
no
they told
one
me
would be able
separately.
to appoint anyone on.
No,
So haven't
no,
we
then
just
the
wait for this?
It's
as
not-
residents?
Yeah, I mean,
Why don't you-
Stated,
why don't we-
you know, for the most part, you act as a committee of the whole, so there's no, there's no immediate thing, and as far as negotiations formally won't start for another year, so you have really plenty of time to get an advisory opinion.
We have committees in place, and if we have to stay there.
I get all that. I just don't know why we wouldn't say, dear Ethics Commission, like, because after our last meeting 2 weeks ago, and half of this was brought up, right? We're all talking about like, should we do this? I mean, I was thinking, well, what else could, because we've
I
had
think that's
conflicts
what
this
John
year.
said. They're doing all, right?
Right,
Not
yeah,
like
they're
you're doing
Just negotiate.
No, I'm saying that is the only committee that we would be worried about right now in terms of like, if there was a negotiation on the table.
Mhm.
Like we were going to collective bargaining, but we're not even doing that. Saying like, if there was a committee that we had something to be worried about, for example, it could be the negotiations committee at the turn of the calendar year. But that's not the case right now. I just use that as an example.
So you're asking for an
Ability-
advisory committee, I'm sorry, an advisory opinion about conflicted president's ability
To appoint committee members.
Any committee member.
Committee members, blank, period.
Okay.
And remember that. in
Not
certain
just
cities, there's
negotiation.
A vice president,
He gave that
serves
as
the
an
role of
example.
president, and the president is unable, right?
Right, that's
So,
already in
so
our.
unlike this past year, you don't have, you're not gonna have, at least at this moment, two conflicted board members come January first.
Well, yeah, of course. No.
And you may not even have,
Not
you
next
may
year, but it
not,
could be 4 years from now, it could be, you know.
I'm
2
not
years.
saying
Yeah.
it shouldn't be dealt with, I'm saying
Yeah.
in the immediate, it's not an issue. And you may very well have two completely non-conflicted people as your president and vice president. You know, I mean, that's to be determined.
So the committee, so you feel like
Yes.
they're following up. They're
Yeah,
they're following up.
Committees of law.
This is how you know we're-
I don't understand what we're missing.
Instructional, but there, we have other things besides just.
What's
No,
all of them?
but you guys are saying committees and then you said they're not a committee, like instructional council.
That's not-
committee members,
It's not a
Getting rid of
committee.
board.
Instructional council is not a committee,
It's not a
Who
board committee.
appoints the board members to the instructional council?
the president.
That's why.
Right, but it's different from a
But
board
it's-
committee. This
it's
policy is
survey.
specific to
Who
board
wants to
committees.
be on instructional? That's
I would-
usually.
Yeah,
been
but
the
it's usually
case.
people
I
that are
don't-
in the instruction, whoever is in
Right.
instruction is who's asked,
Committee.
the committee, correct?
But the policy specific is to board committees. That's what the bylaw deals with, board committees.
So the other
Okay.
question, sorry,
Yep.
is do we want to wait to review the president responsibilities and duties, because that's really about non-conflicted members. Do we want to review that bylaw, or do we want to wait for this advisory opinion to come back?
Right now, we only
We'll
have
keep
the
this
zero,
spinning on
one,
the
6-4 and 6-8.
Right,
And
yeah, that's part of
the
it.
first reading. We didn't put anything else on, so we did.
Right, but we
say
had the
we
first
pulled them
reading
off.
last
We
time,
did.
is what I'm saying, for the committee, so that's not up. We took that off,
Right,
but what I'm saying is the other one, we could do a first reading on next time. Unless we want to wait for the opinion, but the opinion's on conflicted members.
Right.
Not on non-conflicted members, which is what the bylaw.
What does the committee want to do?
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you saying the nepotism clause, you want that to be
No,
reviewed in the
we-
meantime?
We reviewed all of the bylaws, right?
Yeah.
We reviewed all of them at this point. There's just a couple left that. The 0171 is the president duties responsibilities.
Right,
Do we want to review that to update that, or do we want to wait 2 or 3 months until the advisory opinion comes back? Because that bylaw is for non-conflicted members.
I had to leave that meeting, but I thought, what was the conclusion of the committee? I thought that we had decided that we were gonna wait on
I
that.
think we decided we were gonna wait.
Well,
on
I
it,
think
that's what we
that-
said.
Some
Wait for
people
the
want
opinion.
to wait and others didn't. I mean, I think there's.
See what the board to
Yeah.
weigh in?
Can we
So-
vote on these first?
Well,
this is
we're
first
the
reading.
reading.
You have to do it today. Wait till.
So you want the board to, what you're saying is you want the board to weigh in on whether or not we're gonna review the roles of
Yeah.
the president?
That's the one that we already reviewed, right? And we were bringing back just because of the nepotism thing. So if we're bringing it back just because of the nepotism thing, then I think we wait because it had, the only reason we were bringing it, like you guys reviewed it, we approved it, and the only reason it came back was because of the nepotism, the other policy we were talking about, right?
Yes.
So if we don't have any more information to give.
Well, no, so there's a specific line in the last portion of this that says, you know, if there are any questions, I don't remember the exact word, please see bylaw X. So the argument that was made in committee was if we're going to review bylaw 1771. 0171, then why can't we just review and approve this at the next meeting or put it up for a first reading? Because it is saying to see that bylaw and it is not up for review. To which I said, I saw both sides of this discussion. And personally, I didn't have I didn't care because either way, it's resulting in refer to this
Right.
this bylaw, and then when we review that, which we are going to say that we're going to go to very in depth and with advisory opinion, that will handle any questions of.
That'll handle the other bylaw.
Right,
correct?
so I don't see an issue personally, if I'm advising like as from the committee, I personally don't see an issue with us approving that because it's gonna be contingent upon. There's gonna be no change to the nepotism bylaw until we review that after an advisory opinion.
Nice. Okay, but so my confusion is that I thought the one you're talking about bringing back, if we're gonna bring it back to make no changes to it right now.
It's not what we're gonna do.
Oh, okay.
Then what are you doing?
There are changes on it. There are changes that were
There were
proposed,
some words from last
That we
time that
allowed
we
to
had discussed.
But
fixed.
we were going to wait on those changes until we got an advisory opinion.
That was, I think that what Grace is pointing out is that was the area that was kind of like up for,
So that part
It's
doesn't
unclear.
matter?
And
So once
that's clear
advisory
at the
comes
end of
back,
the
is it gonna
policy
come back
meeting.
again?
What is that?
Once advisory
I
comes back,
believe
is
we
that,
went 15 minutes
like,
over.
when we get the advisory,
No.
opinion, do you foresee that that bylaw is gonna come back? Cause then
It's not the
Shannon,
president one, it's the one that the nepotism would change.
that's what I'm saying. So that would, so if we look at it and then we get the advisory opinion, we're gonna look at it again.
No, we're
We're
not gonna look at
no,
the
not
presidential one
president
again, in
one.
my opinion. I don't believe that there's a reason to look at the presidential one again, because it doesn't discuss nepotism. It doesn't outline any of the things that define conflict. It
Correct.
only says in the event of a conflicted president and vice president, see
The other.
bylaws
So
017.
Separate from
Seven
it.
one.
May I jump in here? This is why I was saying, I think there should have been a broader ask of the Ethics Commission, because even when I spoke to NJSBA and I asked their attorneys about not a conflicted
I
president.
just want to stay on
appointment.
task, and I apologize, I'm not looking to interrupt you, but we were just discussing, no, but that's, now you're getting ready to talk about what we're gonna ask in the advisory opinion.
And we haven't
And
even
w-
seen that yet.
And we're still
Of
discussing.
course, we haven't seen an advisory opinion that we haven't asked for.
No, no.
What do you mean?
No, but
We haven't-
we're just talking right now, what you brought up was whether or not we would then bring the roles and responsibilities of the president bylaw back up for a first reading in a future meeting, correct? on the tenth. You're asking us to, as a board, weigh in on whether or not we're gonna bring that back in for a reading.
Correct.
Okay, so I guess just, are we bringing, right, ask,
I don't know.
At the next meeting.
The question that's posed to the board right now is that we would like, the policy committee would like to have the board weigh in on whether or not we are going to review the roles and responsibilities of the president bylaw and have a first reading of that at the next meeting and not await advisory opinion on the nepotism bylaw. Does that make sense?
I think that's great. I think that's great. That's great. Is that- everybody good?
We should ask for an advisory
Everybody
opinion.
that's good.
Presidential conflict is what I was trying to get.
Which would-
Because there's more
We
than
need to
enough.
settle this.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, we need to settle this.
you know, and we'll talk about it in January.
Yeah.
And
January.
Okay, great.
January 10th, right? Or whatever that day
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right, John, and my only question is, at the end of the committee meeting, we were told that before you send in the advisory, that we all need to see it.
I haven't written it yet.
Okay, that was my question.
Right.
Okay,
I just haven't had a
thanks,
chance.
thanks for the work, thanks for the work everybody's doing
Thank
on
you,
this.
thank
Really much appreciated.
Thank you.
So we're putting 0171 on for first reading on January 10th. I just want to make sure I understand.
Yes.
Yes.
0171 is the
President.
president.
And then the advisory opinion is going to be seen only by the committee or by the full board, once you write it.
Full board, fine with me. I mean,
So that'll.
anyone
that'll be by
can weigh in
January 10th.
before we send it.
Great. Okay, now we're
We
gonna
can
move
weigh
on
in?
to
Yeah.
public relations.
I'll-
Board of
I'll send you
Education.
my draft.
Or your public relations, Alex, so Board of Education, meeting schedule.
Thank you.
I think it was what we discussed in the last meeting.
Just change the time to
Just change the
reflect
time to
for the
reflect,
regular meeting night, that the workshop would go 7 to 8. And that the regular meeting would be at 8, with a prompt end by 8:30.
Sounds good.
Sounds good, everybody?
That's why I-
Questions?
I would have said-
Okay, good. Anybody for old business? Oh, they can't wait till they
Yeah,
can't wait.
right.
Anybody for new business, they can't wait?
Should I bring up mine or wait?
Whatever we can do to avoid it downstairs.
We have a couple of minutes. We have a couple of minutes. We still have public comment.
Wait, why do we?
Festivus, the hearing of grievances or?
Because it's 4 days before the holidays.
Did you want to
Let's
bring
get
up?
the 6 people working.
People know about that, you know, I invited.
We a little quiet, a little quiet.
We have two strong leaders, strong leaders of Monmouth County that I had invited to come to the swearing in. They agreed to swear us in if anyone chooses that. And that was really, well, that was all I wanted to let everyone know.
Okay, we have an opinion about that? Is there a policy we have that the board secretary swears in?
Policy states the board secretary swears in. The
What
board,
policy?
you can change your policy.
Suggestion?
So did,
Number.
was that cleared with,
Yeah,
Michael Gross did weigh
I'm
in?
saying. Yep.
So Michael Gross did weigh in. I did ask based on a request from Grace Ann. And Michael Gross weighed in and said, if there's somebody that has the jurisdiction to do that, such as a senator or a judge, and there is a request from a board member to have that individual swear in, he saw nothing against them.
Nothing is, okay.
Correct.
Did you have anything you want to say about it?
No, I was just gonna suggest that maybe you could, Tina could do the swearing in and they could stand next to her. I mean, that would be the other possible solution if it's.
Did you have anything, did you want to say something about it?
I had a follow-up to that, but
To what?
Denise was going, it's fine.
Oh, I think she said what you wanted to say.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. When we ask Mr. Gross questions like that, does it cost us money?
Of course.
Every minute.
We try to gather them all
So
up.
where's the oversight? And I'm not, this isn't, I asked Michael Gross questions myself. I just want to know what the,
That was asked before I asked.
you know,
That's how you know.
yeah, I'm just saying in general. Where is the oversight on the board, on board members going to Michael Gross and the money that costs us?
As school
the-
boards has stated to us many times, everything should really filter through the
Go
president.
to the president, right?
Okay,
And then the president
Determine.
determines if it's every board.
But Natalie, to your point, on our training, I don't know if you recall, he said clear as day, if Ken and Jim will close their ears, I will never tell a board member that they cannot contact me. So when you do say
There's
things
a
like
reason you
that.
said it
So-
can
because it
Jim
gets
close
paid.
their ears.
right. if
No,
they're not
I guess
close-
my point
if
is-
all of us spent an hour a year with him, that I don't know.
I
what's here,
certainly
but
believe in the protocol and absolutely, but when the man also said it during our training, if Ken and Jim will close their ears, and I have an excellent memory, that's what he said.
By the way, I did talk to him about You shouldn't have said that, because that's not the policy supposed to be, the policy. is that-
Right.
Right.
Did you say $165 every time we call him?
No,
It's
$65 an
about
hour.
an hour.
An hour.
An hour.
Okay, about this topic, anybody else have anything?
I do, I do.
Yeah,
When I was sworn in, and Senator Gopal came and was in attendance, I got very negative feedback from other board members for his attendance. They found it to be a partisan thing. And since we are supposed to be nonpartisan, you know, I was upset with it. And I would hope that perhaps things have changed, but I got negative feedback from 2 board members in particular that he wasn't in attendance. So it might be a better idea to, and I would be inclined to follow Denise's suggestion that we allow the BA to do the swearing in. And again, I went to the webinar and they stated that the BA does the swearing in, that Senator Gopal stand to the side while you were sworn in by our BA. Just a suggestion.
okay, we have a little bit of time left, yeah.
I didn't know that this was policy when Ken swore us in. I mean, had I known that was policy, or if I had known that there was any other like possibility, I mean, I have a judge friend that married us. I would have frankly had liked him to have sworn me in than Ken, who I really only knew like superficially. So I see no problem with if Tina is fine with it, if whoever wants anybody, you know, what if somebody's parent or sibling is an attorney? You know, what if my brother can do it next time too? But
Okay.
wait, my point is, what was done in the past, I mean, I wasn't there when the senator was here solo, but I think it shows almost like the reverse, if there's two local politicians who can work together and, you know, show that they can come to the table together. I didn't see those.
Okay, so, do you want us to, do you want to change your thought on this? Do you want us to take you want us to discuss the policy? Do you want us to?
No, I know it was. Thank you.
Okay, no, I mean.
Appreciate
I
it.
mean, first, first change.
They'll be there.
No, we don't need to change the polls.
It's just a suggestion. I don't know.
What is the policy number? Because I didn't know.
Was it you said that the policy was the board?
It's something that we were.
We passed old business, we're on new business, and now, any more new business that we want to discuss in workshop and we can't discuss downstairs?
Wait, so what was the outcome of that discussion that we just had? So is it that Tina will be doing the swearing in and that Senator Gopal and Commissioner Arno will be present? What is the outcome here?
They're gonna swear her
I
in.
would like them to
They're
swear me
trying
in.
to-
And so is that's official, that's done?
I will be
Is there a
having
board
Tina
vote?
sworn in. I've spoken to,
Is there a board vote, the board decision to violate this
As far as
policy?
the policy, to reverse the policy, we have to amend the policy.
It's your policy, if you want to break
The
it, you can
attorney
break it.
said it.
But it's not breaking the policy. The attorney said she is within her rights to ask somebody to do it. So that's
As
not
long as
breaking
they
the
have
policy.
official credentials.
You're okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Policy,
So,
policy.
so I think, Mr. Clayton would also like Senator.
Mr. Clayton said he would like you to swear him in and have the two
Yeah.
of them stand there as he's doing it.
So you're gonna do 3 different ones?
That's what I'm saying, there'd be 3 different.
I mean, I will probably bend to the fact that I'll have Steve do what Steve's doing.
Okay.
I have spoken to Senator Gopal at length last night because he is a little bit confused as to, you know, as to,
The whole thing.
yeah. So long story short, I have told him and Mr. Arnon that I will be having Tina swear me in. If I change to anything, it will be that I will have them, Tina swear me in and have them standing next to me as you just suggested.
Okay.
That would be the only thing I would change.
Okay, so I think we're good. You can have, you want, you can have what you want. and you
Yeah,
can have what
I
you
think
want. Okay.
Do whatever you want.
No more new business? Great.
Down to football.
Any public comment at this time? Anybody from the public like to make a comment at this time on any topic, any topic that you'd like to talk about? Ms. Conway, anybody like to make a comment?
No, President Weinstein, there are no public commenters.
Okay, so we're gonna move down to regular. I don't think we can do an adjournment, right? No, I think we just sit down and do. Thank you, Ms. Conway.